Today we're going to talk about seeding the gaps, and despite, at least for me, my best efforts at crop planting, and I write all this stuff out in the winter of what I need to grow, when the reality hits of how many transplants you have or the spacing and that kind of thing, I wind up with some gaps. So here I'm already watering with drip tape these 2 rows, and it's June 23rd, and for us we have about, let's say, 3.5 months of frost-free weather. So that's 90 days plus 15 to be, just round. We never really know when our first frost in fall is coming. It used to be about October 1st. I've noticed it's been more October 15th now. So that gives us 105 days. Well, right here I have a dry bean, a bush dry bean my friend Carol Deppy developed that's called Beefy Resilient Grex. And from what I understand, she combined a few varieties, which I'm familiar with. The gold ones are called Gaucho. These little black ones are Black Turtle. And these ones here are probably a hybrid between the two. So I know that Gaucho is about a 90-day dry bean from planting seed to when you're harvesting dry beans. So that fits within my 105-day window. So I am going to make some furrows here. I'll just show you how quick this is. And here's something that's a bit non sequitur. I was weeding up here to get ready to plant, and I don't recognize what this is, but it certainly looks interesting to me, so I'm going to leave it and watch it. And maybe it's some new weed and I'm going to regret it, but I've been farming here for a long time, and I don't think I've ever seen that plant. And I know I didn't plant it. Okay, so there's one furrow. Let's see how far these seeds go before I do a second one. I'm planting them about every 6 inches or so. You can see I'm not being overly cautious because I know they'll kind of grow outwards and use the space. But using the gaps in your place to fill in with things that will still mature is a really great way to be efficient with all the space that you have fenced, fertilized, set up water, and all the other things that you need to grow things. It looks like I will have enough seed for 2 rows here, but you never know when you're direct seeding of how much seed it takes. There's about an ounce of seed in here, and so this area I planted, I would say it's about 40 feet, 30 feet. So an ounce, in my mind, an ounce of bean seed plants 100 row feet. So now I'm going to just cover those up. So I'll come back here and finish seeding that other row in a second, but I wanted to go look at another example of something we could do over here, and where we're growing cucumbers. I direct seeded these green finger cucumbers, and a lot of them came up, and cucumbers will sprawl out a bit, but you can see here there's a gap until here, and another plant, gap, and another gap. These are just weeds here. Unfortunately, even despite my best efforts to be really well organized, I am completely out of seed of this, and we're sold out as a seed company. I was scouring around looking for some. So I can't plant a different cucumber because it would cross-pollinate with this, and then we won't get seed. I have a bunch up here, and there's a bunch that made it down here. These are okra over here from seed. So I know I'll have a good seed crop. But I'm going to plant something that is a similar growth habit in the cucurbit family and size and maturity, and this is bitter melon seeds. And I just have a little bit here. They're kind of interesting looking. Look kind of like scraggly watermelon seeds. So I'm just going to come through and pop some in here. One of the things I've done sometimes, if I'm the only person working an area, is I'll go like this. And then next time I'm weeding, I don't inadvertently kill the plant I just planted. That's a little trick you can do. Here I've got a nice plant growing, so I can skip over that. Come down here, put 2 more seeds in, and my rocks. And it's kind of nice having rocks sometimes, not all the time. And then over here we'll do a couple more. And I'm putting 2 seeds in a spot, just in case the germination isn't perfect. I will still have, better chance of getting a successful plant. A couple more here. And here I'll spare you my rock art on those ones. And now, I don't like empty space where we're just growing weeds, because we're watering this whole area with overhead. And we've got to come through. This is popcorn that I think it germinated well, but we had birds getting it. So we're gonna have to come back and weed this. You can see I've got a plant there, but really there should be like 2 more plants there. I've got a little cluster of 3 there. And in a drought year, I just noticed that birds are more aggressive at eating your plants because there's less out in wild nature. So either we'll seed corn in here. This one is a bit borderline because popcorn is a long season crop. So up here I've got sweet corn, and we reseeded the gaps there where the birds ate it. You can see the tall plants. And then in here is what we reseeded. You can see they're shorter, and they'll all take off. And the sweet corn is a quicker plant to mature, but if popcorn doesn't mature, then it's not valuable. If the sweet corn doesn't mature for seed, we still have sweet corn for eating. So that is no problem, and we've got to go through this field and take care of the weeds here. Seeing abundant weed growth doesn't always concern me because it shows there's lots of fertility and that we're watering well enough. If you don't see weed growth, either you don't have any weeds, which is you must live in some interesting fantasy, or maybe you're not watering enough, or you don't have fertility. So, walking down this, we'll come through and try and make the most out of this space. But it could be that I wind up planting like a sunflower in here. So that at least we have cut flowers, and it's another kind of like the bitter melon is similar to the way a cucumber grows. Sunflowers are similar to the way corn grows, and it would be beautiful. And you can never have enough sunflowers in a way, because at least then you're also feeding birds if you don't get around to it. So the gaps in the corn, that might be a good idea to come through. And even with reseeding, I'm noticing we have some gaps here, so I'll probably come through and put sunflowers in here so that it's a nice full patch. And another reason I would want to seed these gaps is empty space, you're just going to grow weeds. If I put sunflowers in there, their big leaves will grow up and it'll shade the ground and will avoid other things. I could also, another idea is come through and put like buckwheat in, and then I have a living mulch that is also producing flowers and nourishing the pollinators and other insects and the soil. So there's some ideas around seeding the gaps. You think about, where you have gaps in your garden. Over here we transplanted, and that's one of the things I like about transplants, is then we have no gaps as long as you water them enough so they don't die. So like these zinnias, and this is indigo and coxcomb over there, and then down there we've got some Mexican sour gherkins and more cucumbers. It'll all be real full in here. So I hope that works, and just keep going. It's kind of like I feel like the gardening season is a bit like climbing a mountain, and when you get to the summer solstice, you're really close with being done planting. But we're in that little gap from now until 4th of July, when if you have the juice in the tank to get out and seed some more successions, fill those gaps, and then just water and weed and enjoy the harvest as it comes. So grow some abundance for you and your family and your neighbors.